What's up, everybody? It's Jen with Parcel and Page. I did it. I went down the rabbit hole that is fountain pens. Even though I swore to myself I wasn't going to do it, I did it anyway, and I'm really, really sorry. And okay, that's it. Get that out of the way. I'm a beginner myself. Done a lot of research online through one of the thousands of videos on YouTube. So one thing I haven't seen is like a beginner's guide by a beginner. So figured I would pass on what I've learned thus far and let you know what I think, give you some suggestions. I'll do writing samples of all these at the end, but for now I'll just go through what I have. This is the one that started it all, the Zebra Disposable fountain pen. These run probably about $2 to $2, maybe 50 cents in big box stores. You can get them online too in multiple packs, but per pen this is usually around $2. This one in particular is a medium nib. That usually runs, I think, probably between 0.5 and 0.6 millimeters. It would be like a standard 5, I guess, if you looked at gel pens or monoline pens. So I loved the way this wrote, just glides across the paper. Fountain pens tend to do that. If you're somebody that writes a lot and you're using a ballpoint pen and you find that your hand cramps after hanging onto it for a while, fountain pens don't seem to do that to me. It makes it kind of effortless to write. It just sort of glides around, and my handwriting was pretty good before, but it has definitely improved with this. I take a more conscious, I guess, approach to the way that I write with fountain pens. So this is my first little booger, $2. Okay. Next, this was a mistake. I got these from Five Below because I thought, oh my gosh, look at how many pens, how cool. There are 8 total, 8 different colors. These are all cartridge, I guess, converter pens. Cartridge converter means that you have, when you open it up, oops, these pens slap off. You have this little guy in here. That's called an ink cartridge. You can also get a converter. Probably not with these. It wouldn't even really be worth it. But the converter you put in, and it allows you to refill your pens with whatever ink you would like. These are not really listed on the nib itself. The nib will usually tell you what size it is, but these are a fine. I did look it up. I think there might, I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. There's a teeny tiny F on there. I hated these. They were nice in the beginning, but as you can kind of see in the caps, they're all colored. They weren't like that before. I realized that's because they leak. The seal is really no good. I've used these a few times, and you can see how much of the ink is gone. So that means it just evaporated. So would I suggest this one? No. I guess I should have known. 5 for $8, probably not going to be the best deal in the world. So, but I still thought I keep trying because I've seen so many people enjoy it, and this is where it starts. This one I haven't really opened. This is kind of widely known as a good starter pen. It's a Pilot Kakuno. This one I got for $12.49 on Amazon. It's a medium nib. This is the family series. I kind of just cracked it open a little bit. When you open, this is also a cartridge converter, meaning you can use either a cartridge or a converter. This one happens to come with a cartridge. It's a little itty bitty guy. And then one thing that's great about these, I think these were, from what I understand, originally designed for children to learn how to hold their pens properly. So if you can see, there's a little, not that great. There's a little face on it. So what it does is tell you that if you can see the face when you're writing, you are holding the pen the right way. I'll pop the converter in here so that I can do an ink sample or writing sample in a little bit. But the cap cracks on, snaps off. I love that sound. Some people hate it. So Pilot Kakuno. Well-loved, well-respected, even by people who have very expensive pens. Most of them that I've seen still have at least one of these because they do write nicely. And then inside the box, you just get a little how-to guide, shows you the names of the pieces of the pen. So you have the cap and then the nib, the neck, which is where the fill part is, the ink cartridge, and then the barrel. Shows you how to fill it. So really cool. Okay, so that's our Kakuno. I'm actually really excited to write with this. Again, cartridge pen. It comes with one cartridge. You can buy more of these. Cartridges tend to be sort of limited in the colors that you can get. It's getting better, but a lot of them, for the most part, you're going to get black or blue in multi-packs. So these are great for, you can just throw one in your bag or in your pocket or whatever. So if you're ever out with your pen and you think it might run out of ink, just carry a couple of these with you and then you'll be fine wherever you go. Now, I mentioned it's a cartridge converter. I do like using my own inks, I have realized. So I did buy a converter for this pen. It's a Con 70. From everything that I have seen, there's also a Con 40, which people don't like for whatever reason. I think a big part of it is that the amount of ink you can hold in them is tiny. So with the cartridge converter, the converter itself is called a piston fill. I'll show you that in a little bit. So just want to let you know you can get this. The pen again was about $12.50. This I think was $7-ish. So if you get both, it's a $20 investment, which really isn't bad if it's something you like and something you think you might use. So give me a moment. I'm going to put the cartridge in so it's ready to write. You know what? I realize that's kind of stupid. I might as well just show you guys how to put these things in. Here's your cartridge. Well, I'll just show you that too. When you go to put one in, you just unscrew the barrel and you take your converter and you just pop it in. You heard a little bit of a pop and now you can see ink is starting to run through. Takes a little teeny bit. As you can possibly see, the ink is starting to flow down towards the barrel. So I'm going to let this one sit anyway because we're going to do writing demos on these. So that is how you fill the cartridge. If you wanted to put the converter in, it's the same type thing. You just slide it in and it doesn't pop really the same way this does, but you put that in and then it holds the ink. This is called a demonstrator too, by the way. Anytime you have a clear pen, that literally comes from way back when salesmen would bring these in or bring in a fountain pen to demonstrate how the interior worked and how the ink was fed into the nib. And the name just sort of stuck. We all know now, well, not all, but most know how it works. But it's still great because you can see exactly how much ink you have left. Lets you know, okay, well, maybe I should bring another cartridge or maybe I should refill it before I leave. So, Kakuno with the cartridge inside. Now, here's where it starts to get crazy. These are Jinhao 9019s. These run, I paid $13.90 for it. This one's empty, so I can show you. Again, this is a cartridge converter pen. When you order this one online, it comes with the cartridge, I'm sorry, it comes with the converter rather than the cartridge. This one screws out, as you can see. And then if you'll notice, it's a very similar tip to the cartridge that was in the Kakuno. So this guy, you just screw back in. Now, if you'll notice, that is a ton of ink. If you go back to the cartridge for the Kakuno, I need to just open this. Give me a second. Okay, we saw the cartridge was small in the Kakuno. If you even go to the converter, you can see the difference in how much ink they hold. So, I don't know if you can see this one all that well. Need to get rid of these lights, but it's tiny compared to this one. So these are not ink guzzlers because they don't really guzzle ink, but they do hold a lot. I have one that I have had filled with one color for quite a while now, and I'm still not out or to the point where I need to refill. So this is a Jinhao 9019. This one is a medium nib. It's really kind of pretty. You can see it's stainless steel nib. It looks gold with the stainless in the middle. This is not gold, it's just a colored steel. So very pretty. Let's see if you can see some of the designs on the nib itself. I do not have the greatest lighting, so apologies. So that was my first Jinhao 9019. I liked this one, so then I got a second 9019. It's the same pen. They have clips on them, but they're super stiff, so I don't, if you have a very thin notebook, you might be able to put it on it, but you have to be careful because these are plastic. And as you can see, this is directly connected into the top of the pen. So if you pull on this too much, this can crack and then your ink will dry out and then nobody's happy. So, but it's the same deal. Cartridge converter came with the converter, not the cartridge. Apologies, my phone went off alarm and I forgot that it was there, so I can't even remember where I left off. But again, this is another Jinhao 9019. This one is in an extra fine nib. Same decoration. They're all, again, stainless steel, so any coloring you see on this is just done manually. It's not gold, an actual gold tip. But again, here is the converter. You can see here that the ink is loaded into this barrel. So we will demonstrate, this one as well. There are two different types of nibs. There's the Japanese and a Western, they call it. The Pilot uses the Japanese nib. The rest of these use Western. Japanese nibs tend to be finer than the Western. So a Japanese fine is going to be a lot smaller than a Western nib fine. So keep that in mind too. Just because it says extra fine doesn't mean that it is necessarily. So again, both of these, or each of these rather, were $13.90, cartridge converters, and they come with a converter. You have to buy cartridges separately if that's the way you want to go. Next up was my Hongdian Purple Forest. Online, it actually was labeled as an Asvine, another big sample, another big company rather. But if you look at the finial on this one, it does say Hongdian, so I don't know if they were interchangeable at one point or not, but again, Hongdian Purple Forest. Let's see, it's a cartridge converter. This one was $17.98, I believe, and this one is a fine, and if you can see, same type thing, real pretty, very shiny brass looking nib. It's not brass, again, it's stainless steel. This one's nice, has a sturdy metal body, and this is one of my favorite things about this pen is that click. I love the click. I find it satisfying. So again, cartridge converter came with a converter and holds a decent amount of ink. If you're not going to be able to go like days and days with a lot of writing with this, but it definitely holds quite a bit, which is nice. Again, the metal body is good. It's a little bit tougher, obviously, than the plastic. This one does have a clip as well. It's a little, well, I don't even know if it's really better. It's a little better maybe than the Jinhao, the 9019s. But again, a lot of these are not, I guess, really made for clipping. So we'll see. Now we have our Hongdian M2 mini pen. This one was $19.98. I got this one in an extra fine. Wanted to try that. Really pretty black nib. Hard to see this one though, even if the lights aren't shining brightly on it. You can see a little bit of etching there on the nib itself. Again, cartridge converter. Came with the converter. You can buy the cartridges. This one I have filled with black. This thing holds ink very well. I maybe have refilled this once. I will, to be fair, I don't do a lot of writing with this one. It's mostly like small little notes here and there, but the end of this, by the way, the end of the cap is called the finial, and this one's pretty. It's, well, you can't see. Maybe you can see. It's actually a cat print, so cute. Smoothed out on the top. This guy is little, great for throwing in a bag. The big thing is I have a bag with a black interior and this thing gets lost in it all the time, but the cap is nice. It seals off very well. Haven't had an issue there. So this is the M2 Hongdian. This I have not opened yet. This let's do it on the video together. This one is an Asvine V126. This guy was $28.50, I believe. This is what's called a vacuum fill. This is the only one of these I have, and I'm going to rip the box because I can't get to it. This one is packaged nicely in a plastic box, if I can get it. There we go. Okay, so we have the Asvine. Comes with the instruction manual. Now, this one you don't need any kind of converter because just the name itself, it's a vacuum fill. This is a nice reusable case. There's one that comes with the Purple Forest and the M2 also. I'll find that one. It's a nice metal case. But this guy, unscrew the top. This, you can see this, sorry. This one is much better as far as the clip. It also is attached here on metal, so that can maybe hold the stress of the clip a little bit more. This guy is, again, a medium nib. I should say again, I don't know if I mentioned it. Stainless steel. Looks like it's gold. It's not. It's just these actually are an industrial coating, this one and the M2. So the coatings on these are going to hold up a little bit better than the rest. But very pretty, simple thing. Now, with a vacuum fill, you open this guy up and you keep opening. And then you'll see you pull on the back. And that's not what fills it. It's actually, it causes reverse pressure in here. And then when you push it, the ink gets sucked up into the barrel. So we will do that in a little bit. I wasn't going to ink this one, but I'm going to, ink not the whole pen anyway, but I'm going to just so you can see how it works. Again, I've never had a vacuum fill, so this is my first one. I'm interested and anxious to try it, see if I like it. Little instruction manual, just tells you how to fill it. It's not a piston fill, so maybe, I guess this is probably just one blanket thing, but again, fully immerse the pen tip into the ink and then unscrew the thingy, and there we go. So there's my Asvine V126, $28.50. All these pens have a bunch of colors, so you can kind of make it how you want to make it. So there's that one. Now, this is my most expensive pen, which pen lovers would not consider, or pen aficionados would not consider expensive. This is my Twsbi ECO. It was a little more because it was a special edition color. This is the bronze and fluorite ECO. It does have a stub nib on it, which means that the nib itself, the rest of them you probably noticed had like a rounded nib. This one really not very easy to see. You can see here it's flattened. This gives you more of a calligraphy type handwriting, I guess, if you want to call it that. The vertical strokes are really, well, pretty wide. This is a 1.1 millimeter, and then the horizontal strokes are thinner because, again, you know, the skinny part of the nib goes down and then the fat part goes that way. This is a piston fill, meaning there's no switchy switch. You can't use a cartridge. You have to do a piston, which really is just twisting. And you can see as I do that, the piston comes down. This thing holds a massive amount of ink. As a matter of fact, so much so that I had a shimmer ink in here, which is one that has like little sparkles, and it did clog it, even though I thought diligent about mixing it, and you do have to do that. We'll get into that probably next video, but so, Twsbi ECO, again, this one was $58.99. You can usually get these for like low to mid 30s, though, if you pick a basic color. And again, you'll notice everything except for these two were demonstrators. These two are not available in demonstrators. This one predominantly, actually both of them, because they're metal. Kind of hard to make clear metal. So that's that. Let's go over how they work. This, by the way, came from Element Atelier. I hope I'm not killing that name. I won it at a stationery festival in Orlando. So I love this. This is leather. I can't remember what kind of wood this is, but it's a rare wood. So this thing was really expensive, and I'm glad I didn't have to pay for it. It just holds your pens very nicely in a vertical position so that the nib doesn't dry out if you hold it upwards, and it doesn't flood. If you hold it this way, it could dry out. you hold it that way, it can flood. So usually the best way to store your pens is horizontally. Check the pen information though. It will tell you the best way to store your pen. Okay, one thing you probably maybe have already noticed, fountain pens are a very messy habit. Inky fingers become a thing and you just have to sort of deal with it. Or you can wear rubber gloves. I'm not going to bother, but I do have these little guys here. I don't think I've ever used it because I don't really care about the inky fingers. But if you're filling a pen right before you go somewhere, like if you have to go to work, meeting, whatever, and you don't want the ink all over the place, rubber gloves, they work. Okay. So one suggestion, anytime you ink a pen, always have it on, well, not always, but it's best to have it on like a little tray with a lip. There have been ink disasters, not with me, but I have seen them where you accidentally knock this, and if you don't have something with a lip, it goes everywhere. So the thing I would suggest actually is when you re-ink a pen would be to open it, fill it, and then just close it up right again. Another thing that matters is paper. You want something where the pen kind of glides over it. You can look and things will tell you that it's fountain pen friendly. That's what you want to look for. If you have regular paper, it sucks up the ink too quickly before it can set and it can feather. Doesn't look super great. So let's see if I can zoom in a little more. This is a Muji notebook. I really do like their paper. Second favorite I have is, well, technically it's Tomoe River paper, but it's the newest version of it. The originals are no longer made, which is what everybody's favorite was. So we will start. This is called posting the pen. If you want to take the top and put it on the back, you can do that. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can see it makes it super long. If it's not heavy and it doesn't weigh you down this way, then go ahead and post it. I don't like pens this long if I can avoid it. So this one I'm not going to post. You can see it sits nicely in my hand. So we're going to do the Zebra Disposable. Medium nib. Okay, so that's a smooth writer. Actually, I'm not crazy about it on this paper. I think I may switch. It didn't feather or anything, but I'm going to switch papers. Hold, please. Okay, I switched to my Tomoe River paper. Again, I had mentioned that it's not quote-unquote real. The original stuff is like the grand standard. There was an M7 machine, I believe an M9. The original owners of those machines just stopped making them. Too hard to produce, too hard to fix. So this book is, it does say Tomoe River notebook. It is a Sanzen, can you see it? Yeah. So that's who bought the rights and the formula to make this paper. So it's pretty close. This one's got a 5mm dot grid on it. So let me show you what a better paper, I guess. No offense to Muji. Let's see what this says. We're not going to post it. So here's our Zebra. And we have a medium nib. Scratches a little bit, but definitely smooth writer. We didn't have any kind of a problem with hard starting, which means that when you start to write, it doesn't really come out. So I got that guy. I'm going to just kind of scribble these quickly. Again, they don't work very well. Shows up better on camera actually than it does in person. So then we got yellow, we have the purple, whoa, pardon that. And we have a regular you can see the difference in the fine line versus the medium, same paper, so it makes it easier to see. Then we have the gray. I really feel like there you can see it. Okay, this one you can see a smidge. It kind of crapped out on these two lines here. One thing you can do is, if you're afraid or if you already see that your pen is a hard start, you could soak the nib in a little bit of water and then dry it off. That will usually get whatever kind of clog you have gone. I did do that with these, so maybe that's what's happening. This one I think is like a light. Yeah, see, this guy is not coming out well. Again, looks better on screen than it does in real life. And we have a pink. Again, these are the pens from Five Below. And the blue. I kind of liken this to people who start to play an instrument. They'll buy like a violin, for example. They'll buy a really cheap violin to see if they like it, and it sounds like garbage, so they don't. Same kind of runs true with the pens. If you buy a crappy pen, you're not going to get the best writing out of it. Out of these 9 pens, I would say probably the Zebra Disposable gave me the nicest line, the most even. I hate to say that because it is a disposable pen, but it gives you a better idea of what it's like to write with a fountain pen as opposed to the Five Below pens. So this is my very first shot with the Kakuno. Again, this is the Kakuno. It's the family series. This one is Coral, and it's the mama. And you can see her smiley face. She's got little, it's not great. You can see she has little eyelashes and a little pearl necklace. So that's how you know it's the mama. Now, here again, posting the pen. This one, zoom out a little, this one is not as bad. It is weighted fairly well, but it's when you write with it, if it's posted and it's one that you can or you can't, you can see as I write, this thing starts flopping around. So a lot of this depends on your hand size and your preference. I did not like the way that felt posted. So let's see what we get now. We have a, oops, it has not started yet. You can see the ink has not made its way all the way down. So I will leave this for another couple minutes. Put it away. Let it soak up a little bit more and then try it again. Okay, I'm back. You can see inky fingers, told you. Okay, oops, let's zoom in some so you can see this one. This is the, let's see, this I like a lot. Pilot Kakuno. This is in a medium nib. These are sort of just things that you do to see how it works, how it handles your verticals, your squiggles, see if you have any problems with it not finishing up the line or keeping it kind of broken. This I really liked. I like this pen a lot. Again, this is a medium nib. This is also a medium nib. The Kakuno, you can see, is a lot thinner than the Zebra. Quality control is probably better on this because it is a separate nib. The Zebra does have a separate nib as well, but it's not really meant to be replaced or refilled. So this one I really like. But keep in mind the different nib sizes, they do change based on what they have. Okay, so I haven't had to refill one yet. Here's our blue, or well, clear blue, more like teal, but clear blue demonstrator from Jinhao. This is the extra fine. So let's try, you can see this one. Jinhao 9019. This is in an extra fine nib. And we'll do a little squiggles and squirrels. You can see this is very nice. It is definitely, I don't know that it's really that much different, but here we go again with this is the Western nib and this is the Japanese nib. So this one definitely is thinner. I just don't know that it's that much thinner than the Kakuno medium. I would say probably a Jinhao fine would run around the same as a Pilot Kakuno medium. Again, Japanese nib, Western nib. Another thing about fountain pen paper, it does take a little while to dry. These are all okay. Well, let's see, this one did smudge a little. So you do, if you use this kind of paper, you got to give it a minute to dry. You can always do a test on a piece that you've already used or you're not going to use and just time off how long it takes for it to dry. So that's the Jinhao 9019. Okay, I'm not going to fill these pens. I'm just going to dip them so that you can get a sense of what they look like. So this is our Jinhao medium. So I'm going to take my Frankenstein plate, undo my ink, and I'm just going to dip it to get some ink in here. What you want to make sure, if you're just testing a pen, you want to make sure that you get it up into here, because that's what's going to allow the ink to flow out to the nib. So if you fill it and you don't get this, it's not going to last you very long at all. So just carefully dip your nib in there, make sure you have it filled. Always, 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 always have a napkin or a paper towel or a designated rag nearby, because once you fill these, or not even fill, once you dip them, it's going to be a little bit messy. You can see there's ink all over the top. So let's just wipe that. Now we have our Jinhao 9019. Again, this one is a medium nib. Anytime you do this, because you're not really getting too much ink down into here, you really shouldn't at all. Maybe I didn't clean it well enough. You always want to flush these out with water. Really, the only thing you need to do is unscrew this, put the nib in a glass of water, and then twist it down, twist it up, and it'll help flush that out. So do that a few times. So I will clean out that nib, or just clean it off, I guess, a little. Oops. Duh. This one also, I don't know if I did it with the other. I don't think I did. As far as posting the pen, you do not want to post this pen. It is ridiculously large if you do. Bigger than my hand, and this is actually quite heavy. It also just kind of flops around there. So if you have gigantic hands, maybe you could push it down on there. It will stay if you push it a little bit, but this is very uneven in the weighting if you do it that way. So this one for sure, I will not be posting. Next up, we have the Hongdian Purple Forest / Asvine Purple Forest. Okay, again, here's your cartridge converter. We're going to do the same thing with this guy. We're just going to dip into the ink so that we can get a sample. Okay. I'm going to close this and then take your... I'm doing, other than pens that were already loaded, I'm doing all these in black so that you can see a little bit better the differences between all of them. See, I think maybe I didn't put enough ink on this one. I would say I definitely didn't. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I need to redo it. Let me redo it because you're not getting a very... Okay, here's our do-over. I just wanted to refill and make that a little bit of a better fill. So let's see if this... Hongdian. Hongdian Purple Forest in a fine nib. This is the only fine that I have. I haven't had this one inked for a little while. It was clean. So I'm thinking maybe the hard start was just due to the fact that there hasn't been ink run through this one for a little while. But again, this is a fine. You can see there's definitely a difference in, these are both Western nibs. You can see the fine Western versus the medium Western versus the extra fine Western. So you definitely see the difference in them. I do not have a bold in a Western tip. I know I'm going to end up getting one. I was going to say I'm not going to bother, but I don't know who I'm kidding. Of course I'm going to get one. Okay, now this little guy, so far, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I love this one. Now, this guy you do want to post. It's really small. And this way, when you post it, you just push it on a little bit. You can see it stays on pretty well. He's already inked, so I don't need to dip it. But I do like this pen. It is very tiny. It's a little scratchy. A lot of these pens, you have to sort of check and see if there's feedback. The Jinhao did not have any. The Kakuno really, I don't think, did. And the Zebra wasn't too bad. But feedback is when it's a little bit scratchy on the paper. Some people love that. I like it. Other people hate it. It kind of gets cringy for them. So you might have to just do a little research to see if yours does that too. But here's the Hongdian M2 mini pen. And this is in an, oops, extra fine, sorry. I'm not paying any attention whatsoever to the lines. Okay, so again, this is an extra fine. Extra fine is compared to the Hongdian fine. I can see a difference, especially here in the line width. It just depends on how big or how small you like your lettering. Some people like to have a nice thick line. Some would prefer thinner. I think just looking at this, so far I do like the fine Purple Forest and also the Kakuno medium, which again, if you go by the fact of Western versus Japanese nib, that would make sense. Okay, now this one I'm going to fill because I'm going to leave this pen. We're gonna do the vac fill. Give me a moment to find my ink. Okay, you do not need to match your ink to your pen. A lot of people do, and I like to do that too. So this is Diamine Ink Oxblood. Not a huge bottle, but enough definitely for some fills and not so much that you're spending a ton of money and hate it. This is a 30 milliliter bottle, whereas the one that I had been using, the Hongdian, this is a 60 milliliter bottle. I really do like this one. I've never used this. So let's see what happens with the vac fill. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to have my napkins close by. So again, we want to unscrew the cap, and then the barrel on this one does not come off because it's a vac fill. So we unscrew this. I think that's the farthest it goes. Yeah, okay. So we're going to take the ink, shake it. This one's just a plain ink. You don't really have to shake it and mix up any sparkle or anything that's in there, but I do it just because. Okay, so with this one, wish me luck. Go back up a smidge. All right, so again, same deal with this. You want to make sure that your entire nib gets filled in there. This is making me nervous. Let's see. It is not pressing. Okay, hold on. I'm already making a mess. Okay, I just had to undo it one more time. Okay, so this guy again is the vac fill. I'm going to try. I don't know that I can do this with one hand. All right, well, you can probably see I pulled the stopper the whole way back. And now we're going to push it in. This is not working. Oh, there it goes. Okay. And then you can see the ink plucked up in there. Once we're done, again, first time I'm filling this one, so I'm going to let it sit for a moment. One thing with vac fill pens that I've heard is that if it starts to get a little bit funky and hard to write, you can unscrew this a little and it gives a little bit more pressure and allows air in there. Now I did something I want to show you guys, another disaster prevention technique. This one, because I was trying to do it with one hand, I pushed too far in, and now I have ink all over my thing. Again, perfect reason why you want to put this on a tray. If you have it on the tray, you also have it on your bottle. So clean and wipe your bottle off really well first before you put this back down somewhere. And then go ahead and, I'll just put it here to show you. Then go ahead and clean off your tray. See, like that would have gone all over everything. And you'd be sad, and nobody wants to be sad. Okay, so we filled that one with the ox blood. So let's let her sit for a smidge. We can actually undo this to keep an eye on the front again, see when the ink starts to feed through. Let her sit for a sec. We'll do the other one first. Okay. Inky fingers, again, you're probably going to be a mess, but that's okay. Well, it's okay with me. And if you don't like it, like I said, just wear gloves and it makes it easier. Now, this is the stub nib. This guy I love. 1.1 millimeter brass. Let's do it without ink all over the place. It's a stainless steel nib, sorry, but it is covered in like a bronze finish through scientific methods, so on and so forth. So it's not going to wipe off like some of the cheaper pens might do. So we're gonna dip this guy because he's not filled. I have an ink that I'm ready to use in this, and I'm super excited about it. So normally piston fill, again, I would twist this all the way down, put the nib in, twist it back up, and the ink will fill up in there for you. So not going to do that. Just want to kind of keep most of them in the same color so you can see the difference. So let's dip this guy in here. Okay, and then just wipe off the front. Now I'm going to do printing in this one. This is a stub nib, 1.1 millimeter. Now this is, well, you'll start to see the difference in line width. So you can see, obviously, if you go straight down, you're going to get nice thick lines. If you go over, you get thinner. Like the word eco, you can definitely see differences there. So I love the stub nib. I didn't close my black ink. Oh, uh-oh. Where's the lid? Oh, okay. You can see the difference in that one for sure. So that is the basic gist of it. Again, are any of these expensive pens? Not really. The Twsbi ECO is probably definitely the most expensive at like $60-ish with tax. But everything else in here you can get for the vac fill was $28. Oh, I haven't done that one yet. My bad. Let's do this guy. I have no idea what this is going to write like. Again, it's a medium, but it is a Western nib, so it should be similar to the others up here. Whoops. Okay. Since it's the first time I've used it, I went ahead and just a little squiggle to time. I'm going to go clean all these out. And then I will, you can't even see the Asvine. I was really stupid. Let's do it again. Apologies. Let me zoom out a little bit. That'll probably help. You can see it, but I just want you to I don't know if you could hear any of the feedback on the other pens, but there is absolutely none on this one if you could hear it. Super smooth writer. I would absolutely suggest this for somebody who gets kind of freaked out by scratchy pens or the sound of the scratching on the paper. Just to, I hope I did that so you could see it. I feel really dumb if I didn't. As you can see, here's the cheapy Zebra Disposable. Didn't actually write that badly. It is smooth. And then here are our 5 below pens in all the different colors. They weren't awful, but I guarantee you if I leave these for a day and I come back tomorrow, they will not work. So take that for what it is. The Pilot Kakuno in medium, love this one. That was super smooth, very nice writer. The Jinhaos, I really like them. Some people hate them, some people like them. I do like them. Is that an extra fine as compared to that? I don't know. They're both Western nibs, so, and then again, if you compare these two, they're similar. The Jinhao medium is by far, well, other than the stub nib, but by far the thickest writer. And the Purple Forest in fine I liked as well. Again, I had to give that a break because that one gets a freebie. I did not put enough ink on the nib. So we've got the Purple Forest, and then the M2 mini pen is a lot of fun to write with just because it's so small and you can take it anywhere. And then the Eco stub nib. Love the way, oh, I spelled that wrong. It's Twsbi, pardon me. And not that it's going to matter, but yeah, see the ink's already starting to dry. Okay, there's the Twsbi ECO stub nib. Gives you like almost a calligraphy type look. And then the Asvine V126, which I love. Asvine on their pens, if the pen number starts with a V, it means it's a vacuum fill. If it starts with a C, it's a cartridge converter. And if it starts with a P, it's a piston fill. So again, we had a piston fill, we had a vac fill, and then all these are cartridge converters. Again, I don't know that I'm going to bother. Where's my Kakuno? I'm not going to bother probably getting cartridges for these unless I travel. I really can't find my Kakuno. That's a bummer. It's here somewhere. So, and then keep in mind too, anything with a cap on it is not going to slide off your desk. Or some of them. Again, I wish I could see what I did with that pen. Oh, here it is. That will prevent it, obviously, from sliding off of your desk. The only one that doesn't so much is the Kakuno. A little bit, I guess, because it does have, what do you call it? An octagonal shape here. But these seals are excellent too, you can see there. So again, Twsbi, it'll, if you really knock it, it'll roll, but that one's fine. Asvine, same thing, not really gonna roll. You are at 90-19, stays where it's supposed to, unless you really flick it. Purple Forest does not roll off, and the M2 does not roll off. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Again, I am going to do another video where I actually ink these up with what I want to put in them, and then I can do another writing sample with them. And not that it's going to make a huge difference, but it'll make some. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope it was at least a little bit helpful. Is this something that a master fountain pen user is going to need to watch? No. But if you're thinking about getting into it, I wanted to give you some inexpensive options and show you how they worked from somebody who is relatively new to the hobby. This does get addictive very fast. The inks get really addictive really fast. Got some of those. I haven't even opened that one. It's another Hongdian. I'll do that later. I got an Inkverse, which is Colorverse. I've got a Tom Studio and a Kiwi ink. This ink is absolutely gorgeous. It can be a problem in pens without bigger nibs. We can discuss that next time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you consider giving me a thumbs up or like or leave a comment or even subscribe. That would be awesome and greatly appreciated. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.